he or is he a she?
He is a father, so I guess he is a he.
And how do you live your religion? Do you go to church? Can you describe?
Yes, I read the Bible, I attend services, I listen to pastors, and I read inspirational books.
How does the Bible inspire you? Is there one quote or one psalm or anything?
Yeah, love God, love others. It says that all the commandments can be summarized into two. You love God and love others.
You are an inspiring example for a lot of Filipinos. That's at least what we experience, because whoever we asked about you, everybody was like, yeah, Mocha, she's really cool and she's very honest. I think the honesty is what people really like about you. Can you describe how you became this person that you are now? Maybe again in a few sentences. What did you make become this?
You see, we are all going to exit this world, meaning no one gets out of this world alive. We are all going to die. It's just a matter of time. And so, as long as I'm here, I just want to be true to myself and to the people and fulfill my mission, and that is to give voice to the ordinary Filipinos, because now we have a government who listens to the ordinary Filipinos.
I guess a lot of times Facebook, for example, or social media is also used for fake news. I guess you heard about this. What do you think about this? Isn't this a paradox that actually Facebook at the same time helps honesty and
the same with mainstream media? That is also happening right now. So that is why the citizens should be. Each one of us should be vigilant. Each one of us should do fact checking, because it's not just fake news. Fake news is not just rampant in social media. It is also rampant in mainstream media. So it's up to us to balance the news, to do research and do some fact checking.
It seems to be a movement. It's not just here that people elect a person like Duterte, who is not part of this biased people of the politics, like the usual politics. You can see the same in the US, I think. How would you describe this movement? Is there a movement for, yeah, I don't know, how would you describe that? It seems to be a global phenomenon.
Yes, it is a global phenomenon because of the social media. And they said it is now becoming the fifth state, meaning it is really a big part of a nation. Because in social media, everyone has a voice. And if you want to know the pulse of the people, survey, you can get that through social media. Because a lot of mainstream media are being controlled by oligarchs who have their own self-interest when it comes to politics. And they have big influence in politics. But in social media, everyone is equal.
And you think people can identify with you because you are just and you grow up like them, maybe. You are, as you said before, you are in a way you were normal before you became famous, right?
Yes.
Can you maybe describe where you come from, like your origins, and what were your first steps to become famous?
I grew up in the province. And I lived a very simple life. I studied there until high school, and then I went to to study college. So I lived a very simple life, and I experienced being an OFW, or an overseas Filipino worker. So I can say I also feel the sentiments and also the things that OFWs go through. So I've had, you know, a lot of experience. I can say that can make me relatable to the ordinary Filipinos.
What were your first steps in media? What did you do first before you became a blogger and had several albums?
Well, after dropping out of med school, I went full-time performing with the MOCHA girls, and we had, I think,
Excuse me,
six albums.
May we have this again because there was a very loud count? I'm sorry. Okay.
After dropping out from med school, I went full-time performing with the MOCHA girls, and we released 6 albums with different record labels, and also we've done a couple of movies, and we also toured around the world performing for Filipinos all around the globe. In the US, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Middle East. And then now came the blog.
And you were a dancer before?
Yes, until now I sing and dance and do blogging on the side.
And I'm sorry to ask, but I understood that you did erotic dancing too before?
Sexy performances. You know Spice Girls and Pussycat Dolls? You know Pussycat Dolls? They're our inspiration.
How should Germans imagine this? Like you did, what kind of dancing was it?
Pussycat Dolls, you know, like hip-hop, sexy dance, Spice Girls. Yeah.
Okay. And you think it's time for people like you, like who are not the usual politicians, to gain power in this society and maybe on the internet or wherever?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you think that people like you, like normal people who became famous, should gain the power instead of the usual politics? Is it time for us to stand up and to get the power?
I think it's time. Well, actually, when Duterte announced that he is going to run for president, the Filipinos used their power. And that is to voice out their opinion on social media, that they were tired of the old government who served only the oligarchs. They were tired of politicians who promised the world during election, but when they get elected, they forget all about their promises. So I believe that we should continue to use that power to voice out our own opinion, make a stand. Yeah, to make a stand.
Is there any limit? Is there anything? What about like human rights? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
Duterte was criticized a lot of times because people from other countries say he doesn't respect human rights. You think the press is wrong?
Of course, they are wrong.
Why?
Because how can they judge Duterte of not promoting human rights?
Because what they say, I can only speak of what I hear from the German press, you know?
Yeah.
The German press says he is responsible for these killings.
Like what he said, why don't they file a case? Those who accuse him of killing innocent people, why don't they file a case, give a list of the names that were killed, and he said he will welcome the complaint. The problem is it's all about hearsay. He's like this, he's like that. Maybe it's because of his mouth. He says, I will kill you. But he is talking the language of the criminals. He is threatening the criminals. He would always say, do not destroy the youth of our country because I will kill you. And as a president, there is no law that says you cannot threaten criminals. So the Filipino people trust Duterte. We may not understand how he speaks, but we are happy with his actions, and that the crime rate has gone down since he sat as president, and he has exposed these government officials who are involved in illegal drug trade, from barangay captains to generals, even senators. And so this is just a start. It is a war, and it's unfair to accuse our president of violating human rights. If you think that is the case, then you should stop complaining and file a case in the court.
One last question about your new job. Congratulations. I read on the newspaper that you are now a member of the MTRCB. Am I right?
Yes, Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. Just a board member, one of the 30 board members.
And what does that mean? What do you do there?
You classify, you review films and TV programs, and make sure that it doesn't violate the values of the Filipino people.
I think we need it again because of editing. Can you have this again? I am now a member of the...
I am now a board member of the MTRCB, Movie and Television Review and Classification Board. And what we do is we review movies, TV programs, and make sure that they don't violate the Filipino values.
May you give some examples of these values?
Well, for example, when it comes to sex, it should be rated as R18. So you have to make sure that during prime time they don't show sensual scenes on television. And also when it comes to animal cruelty, animal welfare, and a lot of stuff.
And what about political things? If they, for example, if there are, I don't know, maybe things which are violating politics or...
Yes, well, to be frank, this is just my first day in the department, so I am still learning everything.
And who teaches you in that?
The other board members, and we have like a...
Excuse me in a full sentence because we won't listen my question. The ones who teach me are...
The ones who teach me are the board members, the chairman, and they have a booklet of guidelines and stuff like that.
Okay, and will you go on with your career as a singer and dancer beside that?
Yes, I will continue. I will continue with my career with the MOCHA girls, sing and dance. Yes, it will continue.
Very last question. If you have one, oder Hans, hast du eine ganz wichtige noch? If you have one dream, maybe for this country or for the world, one thing you could wish, what would that be? And maybe the answer in a full sentence would be nice.
For the whole world?
The Philippines.
For the Philippines, maybe one wish, one big wish, one dream.
My wish for the Philippines and for the whole world, just like what President Duterte said, is to preserve humanity and also take care of the less privileged people, the oppressed. Like now, Let us take care and, accommodate the refugees. Take care of humanity.
Security, does this play a role for you? You think that's the goal too?
Yes, security.
Are the Philippines safe enough, you think?
You're still alive. I'm kidding. You see, when you talk about security, safety, there's terrorism everywhere. Look at what happened in Jerusalem, Paris, US. There are more people dying out there than here. So when it comes to security, our president is doing everything to get rid of criminals who are pretending to be politicians. Each country has its own problem, and our problem is the war on drugs. While for the others, it's terrorism. So I wish that we will all help to preserve humanity, and each country will solve their own problem.
Thank you very much. I think now it would be important for us to have some shots without smoking. So what would be nice is to may we accompany you to the dressing room, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, last question from Jonathan Miller.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, at the risk of being shot down, the numbers of people who have been killed on the streets of the Philippines since you came to power 6 weeks ago have risen to around 1,000. Now, I know you have been contemptuous of your critics, but they are accusing you of unleashing a national death squad. Where is this going to end? Because some are saying that the social fabric of the Philippines is at risk here.
Good. That's a very good question. Because the other past, in the distant past, no police was ever willing to really work and risk his life. You know, it was in practice before. That's why I said I take full responsibility. You know why? Because they are now encouraged and even brave enough to have a shootout. The standard practice in this system of government is that when you accuse him, they would always file a counter charge and say there was due process or that they were unarmed and anything, any answer that could give a leverage. And ordinarily, and you can check this out, in the courts, they are to use that leverage against the poor policeman. Now, remember, in this country, no lawyer is provided for the policemen and the other men and the security officers when they get into trouble with the law. They are left at the mercy on their own. That was the policy before, and in the previous ones, they are left behind. So when I was there, I told them, go ahead, do your duty. But if you feel that you're in carrying out your duty, you will get killed. My God, shoot him first. And they were protected there, and there were cases filed, and I provided the lawyer. And for the time that they are suspended, that is why they are afraid. They face charges in court, then at the same time, when they are accused, they lose the job because they are suspended. And for the time that they are suspended, and the hearing of cases can take you to eternity, as low as it can ever be, the family is not without food.
But with respect, so you as a lawyer know
Yes.
better than any of us how important this principle of innocent until proved guilty is.
Yeah. Padilla said 2 years ago, there are 3 million addicts in this country. That was the last figure. Nobody cared to find out. Now it's my time. So, 2 years ago, between 2 years ago and now, how many do you think were hooked into drugs? They must give it incremental increase of about, just be liberal about 7,000. 700,000. So 3,700,000. And they confirm 600,000 now was surrendered and took the test for drug addiction. How do you call it? Just a problem? It's just a police problem? Or is it really a crisis for this country? It's not even epidemic, my friend. It is pandemic. So what am I supposed to do as a president? Empower the military and the police, for after all, they are there to protect the integrity and preserve the people of the Philippines.
At the risk of gun law, sir.
It can happen. It happens in America. They're shooting the blacks there. It shows on TV, it should be on TV. What's the difference between America and the Philippines? Nothing. So what is surprising here is surprising to us. We say policemen, they're shooting a black guy there. How many times had it happened in the past? That's why you have the violent demonstration. So, would it surprise you and me? Almost the same. One case only, 3 cases here. So what? It involves the same principle. So for every one black there, then you have about 5 here. And so, does it make this world more livable because there is less killing? Yeah. Would you shoot a black bear dead? What is that? Is that not appealing? When you bomb Syria and Iraq and you kill communities and you kill children and old people and hospital, what is it? And why is it that United States is not doing anything? I do not read anybody in that stupid body complaining about the stench there of that. Look at the iconic boy that was taken out from the rubble. And he was made to sit in the ambulance, and we saw it. So what's the difference? Life of the criminal, or maybe what we robbed out? We cannot discount it. But what do you think what the Americans did to the black people there? Was that good to have out also? I said, well, it was just one community there, one state of America. Well, but you have there about 10. So what's the difference? Are we here for the counter or the basic principles of human rights? Almost the same.
Okay. Thank you, sir.